Hello everyone and welcome to Languages with Kiki. My name is Kiara and this is going to be a series of videos about the TOEFL test. I want to dedicate this video to all the students who feel stressed out, to those particularly anxious students, people who suffer from stress and stress out a lot when they have to take an exam. The reason why I chose the TOEFL test as opposed to the Cambridge Proficiency or the IELTS is because the TOEFL test is very introvert friendly, so to say. It is computer based and I think many students need to take it for whatever reason. Right now I'm going to be talking about the first section. So the TOEFL test has 4 sections: the reading, the listening, the speaking and the writing. And I'm going to tell you some tips and tricks that I learned when I took the TOEFL test. Okay, let's start with the reading part, and I'm also going to be doing a video about what actually happens the day of the test, because I found a couple of videos on YouTube about what actually happens on the test day, and it was very useful for me, so I was like, maybe I should make a video, an in-depth video about what happens the day of the test, so stay tuned for that one. So the first advice I have, if you have a limited amount of time or you know you're busy, you work, you study, you don't have much time to prepare the TOEFL test, is to buy one of those bulky books with a lot of tests in them. And the CDs are actually very important, because most of the TOEFL test is based on listening and speaking, and you need to listen to conversations and so on and so forth. So make sure you invest in one of those books. I prefer the book as opposed to those online courses you get when you purchase the test, because the book allows you to, first of all, practice a little bit everywhere. Of course you can take your laptop anywhere, but it's actually nicer to have a bunch of tests and you can do it from beginning to the end. I find that when I take tests online, I sometimes say, oh, let me take a break, and I don't go through with it. So if you don't have much time to prepare it, I would say just get the book and do as much as you can. Try to practice every day. So for the reading section, I am someone who doesn't like to, read a text and not understand absolutely everything in the text. But with the TOEFL test, it's not the case. You don't have to actually read the entire text and lose a lot of time, a lot of valuable time. You don't have much time to actually complete all the questions. So you really want to be efficient in the way you read. So what I found out is that if you read the first, and it's actually an advice that you get in the book as well, if you just read the first sentence and then the last sentence and the beginning of each paragraph, I would say, you'll get the global meaning of the text. You get the topic, what is it about, what are they discussing, what are the keywords. It's really important to highlight keywords. And keep in mind that if you practice on the book as opposed to the computer, the day of the test it's going to be very different, because you're not going to be able to use a book. It's not a paper test, it's an online test. But I don't think that is an obstacle. So make sure that maybe you take 1 or 2 tests online, just for the hell of it, if you find some tests on the internet. But if you don't have that opportunity, just use the book, and then the day of the test you will be sufficiently prepared. I also think that if you use the English language on a daily basis, you're able to communicate with natives, you're able to write an essay, you have the sufficient level to pass the test. Now, I don't know if you need a particular level, like C1, C2. If you aim for, a higher level, in that case maybe you need a little bit more exercise, but that's not really not impossible. So alright, I was saying that you should read the first sentence, and if you feel like it, the first paragraph and the last paragraph, and then the beginning of each paragraph, and then you're good to go. One of the most interesting aspects of the TOEFL test, I don't know if that applies to other tests as well, but it is that the questions always appear in sequence. What I mean is question number 1 is going to be in the first half or the first section of the text, while question number 5 is going to be in, you know, down below. And you will never find question number 5 in the first paragraph. So it is a sequence of questions that you will find in the same order in the text. So that's why you don't need to read all the text up front and thus losing valuable time. So what I recommend is really that you read the first sentences, you read the questions, and then you try to answer the questions and find them in the text. Keep in mind that the questions appear in sequence. That's all I'm saying. Then what to do if you're unsure about a question. With the reading, you can actually go back to the questions you're not too sure of. So just make your best guess and then go back to it at the end of the section. And I think with that you should be good to go. Yeah, I think that's the most useful tip, just to not spend too much time reading the entire text. So okay, this is all for the reading section. In the next video I'm going to be talking about the listening section. So if you're interested, stay tuned, and I really hope you like this video. Don't forget to subscribe to Languages with Kiki. And as far as stress and anxiety is concerned, you will find that, and that this is actually something really important that I wanted to mention before I go, that the day of the test you will have plenty of people around you. And each person is going to start the exam at a different time. They're going to be talking with their microphones and stuff. And so it is going to be very hard to focus on things. And don't feel discouraged because the environment is not really ideal. In order to avoid that kind of anxiety, like, oh, I can't understand what I'm reading because everyone around me is being loud, try to take the tests or to study in very crowded rooms. So you can go to a public, you know, like to a public place such as a bar or cafe and try to study there for your test. Or open your window. Open your window if you live in a busy street like mine. Just open the window and try to, you know, to understand what you're reading even with all the noise around you, surrounding you. All right. So in the next video, I'm going to be talking about listening. Thank you for being here and stay happy. Bye.